Thank you for joining us here on Aneke TV Business Parlor, where we'll bring you up to date on the happenings around the business world and why and how you need to watch and guide your portfolio for proper guidance and investment. I'm remaining your anchor, Uche Osai. And looking at the Nigerian business landscape as of yesterday, March 5th, 2026, we can tell you that it was marked by a massive breakthrough in energy sector and continued fiscal restructuring. While the stock market saw a slight pullback, the general economic sentiment is leaning towards cautious optimism, driven by long-term reforms. Now, let's take a look at the key issues shaping the market. And one of such issues is the issue of the OPL 245 that we did tell you when we talk about the energy sector. Yes, remember that in the course of the week, we did tell you about the resolution of the federal government concerning OPL 245, where the breakthrough in perhaps the biggest story of the week, the federal government reached a historic settlement with Eni to resolve the 15-year-old dispute over oil prospecting license. That clears the path for Zabazaba Etan project, which is expected to add about 150,000 barrels per day, on the Nigerian fronts oil production. So that is a huge, to Nigerians' production capacity. And then when we take a look at the physical policies that help shaping the day, speaking to yesterday's business landscape, we saw that one of those issues that had contributed in an enormous way is the reforms. Remember, on the tax reform aspect, the cabinet reshuffle by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, nominating Taiwo Oyedele, who was former chairman of the tax reform committee, as now the Minister of Finance, went a long way to signal a definitive shift towards aggressive tax simplification and widening the revenue net. He replaced Dr. Doris Uzoka Aneke, who moved to budget and national planning. These are part of the factors that shaped the business world yesterday. And solid mineral, when we take a look at the solid mineral aspect, you remember that we did tell you that the Nigerian CBN has now made a bold move in terms of gold reserves. And this gold reserve surge, the solid mineral department development fund, announcing that Nigeria's gold reserve have hit around the $3.5 billion. Very critical, yes. That's very critical, being that the Central Bank of Nigeria is now acquiring this gold using Naira to strengthen the country's reserve without depleting foreign exchange. That's good. Another aspect is that when we take a look at the financial markets, for example, BS taking the lead, the Nigerian exchange saw 101 billion Naira loss. Yes, as at Wednesday, Thursday, as investors engage in profit taking. Major stocks like Dangote Sugar and Jais took a 10% hit, when you go through the year-to-date return remains, though, very robust at over 26%. So when we give you a summary of the happenings as I yesterday, bottom line here is that government is doubling down on clearing the deck, removing legal obstacles in oil and gas and placing tax experts in core finance roles for business. The pain of reform is transitioning into a period of predictability, though the high cost of energy and credit remains very significant. And that's it at the factors that shaped the Nigerian business landscape for yesterday. Now let's quickly run to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The Nigerian Stock Exchange, equally like we did tell you, experienced a slight recovery yesterday, though on Thursday, March yesterday, saw a very slight recovery, following the dip earlier in the week. The market closed on a positive note, driven by renewed interest in insurance and industrial stocks. And when you take a look at the market summary, you see that the all-share index ASI closed at 196,807.16 points, gaining around 0.18%, approximately 344 points gained from the previous day close of 196,463.22 points. And then we'll take a look at the market capitalization, which settled roughly at 126.32 trillion naira. yes, in a trading volume that was over 634 million units that were traded, a decrease from the previous day's high volume sell-offs, indicating a shift towards stabilization. And when we move forward to look at the market breadth, we'll tell you that the market breadth was quite positive, where we had 32 gainers are performing 38 losers, though the overall index was lifted by heavyweights, yes. And then let's quickly run and look at the top 5 gainers. Yes, looking at the top 5 gainers that dominated yesterday's trading, we'll tell you that the insurance sector were part of the movers as they dominated gainers list yesterday, with investors responding to positive regulatory news and corporate actions such as linkage assurance 16.3 billion right issue announcement. This is one factor that will move investors' hearts, to move towards taking positions. Yes, and looking at the top 5 performance yesterday, we can tell you that Eternal is still in it. Eternal closing at 38 naira 50 kobo, making a positive adjustment of plus 10%, and they are followed by MPF Microfinance. Yes, MPF Microfinance traded as a MPF MCRFBK, closed trading yesterday at 7 naira 15 kobo, equally in the bullish run of a plus 10% positive adjustment. And then when you look at another mover here that closed in the positive, we are seeing Premier Paints, traded as Prem Paints, closing yesterday on a positive note at 13 naira 30 kobo, making a plus 9.92% adjustment. And we are seeing an insurance stock here, Custodian Insurance, traded as Custodian, closing in the positive of 76.80 kobo, making a positive adjustment of 9.71%. And then we'll look at FTG Insurance. FTG Insure, that's the trading name, closing at 1 naira 36 kobo, making a positive adjustment of 9.68%. That is it for the top movers yesterday. And then let's quickly move to the top losers here, taking a look at the top 5 losers. Despite the overall index gain, there are several mid-cap stocks faced significant pressure, with some hitting the daily downward limit of 10% below. And looking at these companies, you see that part of the losers here is Triple G. Triple G closed at 4 naira 26 kobo, making a dip of 9.94 negative percent adjustment. And we're seeing Multiverse in the fray as well. Multiverse is equally the dip of negative 9.91%, closing its book at 20 naira 45 kobo. And we're seeing the Jaiz Bank from the banking sector equally in the dip, closing at 10 naira, making a negative adjustment of 7.41%. And they are followed by Honey Flour. Honey Flour, traded as Honey Flour, closed his book yesterday at 20 naira 90 kobo, making a dip of 7.11%. And we're seeing Dangote Sugar in the negative as well, closing at 69 naira 40 kobo, making a negative dip of 7.10%. And then when we look at the factors that shaped the market yesterday, one of the major factors here is the insurance pivots. The insurance pivot. The standard trend yesterday was the surge in insurance index, with the central bank's stable interest rate environment at 26.5%, and the ongoing recapitalization exercise in the insurance sector. Investors are rotating capital out of high-priced consumer goods like Dangote Sugar into undervalued insurance stocks that offer better dividend yields at current entry points. So it's good that you take a position now. Yes, investors are taking position right now, especially with the insurance stocks that they see to be more profitable than overpriced assets. And now let's quickly run to the Naira for yesterday. The performance of Naira yesterday will tell you that the Naira experienced a marginal depreciation in the official market, continuing a trend of slight volatility as the market adjusts to ongoing fiscal reforms. Now let's quickly take a look at the official market. the naira closed at 1,386 naira 29 kobo against the dollar at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. And we'll tell you that this represents a 0.16% depreciation from the previous day close of 1,384 naira against the dollar. And then we will tell you that during the intraday high, the naira, got as high as 1,387.24 naira against the dollar, and the lowest for yesterday was around 1,382 naira 87 kobo against the dollar. Now, trading volumes remain steady, but demand for settlement of mature obligation, by manufacturing firms slightly outweighed the supply, provided by the central bank and the oil majors. That's the market sentiment. And when we take a look at the naira performance against other major currencies, when we look at the pattern against euro and British pound, this is largely influenced by global currency shift and domestic demand. Yes, we've given you the price of what the naira, did against the dollar yesterday. Looking at the British pound, the naira yesterday was, yesterday, though slightly down, closed at 1,847 naira against the pounds. And then moving over to euro, you see it was able to hold its own, though it was slightly down at 1,605 naira 33 kobo against the euro. And now let's quickly look at the factors, influencing this performance. One of such factors is something that we've always told you, the foreign reserve. When you look at foreign reserve diversification, this is the recent announcement of Nigeria's gold reserve reaching 3.5 billion has provided some psychological support, as CBN is now using naira to buy gold locally instead of using the USD, to import reserves. So these are one of the factors that shaped up the market. And then when we continue to journey along, despite the demand for foreign exchange by corporate entities to fulfill international supply contracts, put pressure on the naira as yesterday. But when you move forward and look at overall, one thing that we can tell you is that the naira is quite stable. Yes, that the naira, the market, the Nigerian economy is wearing a very stable look. You can make, a dip now into the Nigerian stock market, where you can, make your investment, take position with insurance stocks that are now, way below the normal pricing, and by the time they begin to rise, you begin to cash out, like people that have moved off their portfolios from the consumer goods like Dangote, where they've taken their profits, and now they feel that the pricing of the consumer products are overpriced, and they are taking defensive position at the insurance sector. So it's time for you to take very good defensive position with your portfolio, and then when it's time to cash out, people would begin to wonder how you did it. Remember that it was here at the Aneke TV Business Parlor that we brought to you these updates and factors shaping the market, and with that we are quite confident that you will take very good position, that when the market becomes very bullish, you begin to cash out. And do not get deterred by the naira performance. We are optimistic that despite the weekend, Friday, that as the resumption of business next week, the Nigerian business landscape will be bullish and more favorable despite the happenings in the Middle East. And for that, this is where we'll call it a day on the Business Parlor. And I'm still your host, Uche Osai. To come your way same time next week. Bye-bye.
Morning headlines before you step out. Midday updates while you work. Evening analysis when the day winds down. Wherever life takes you, Aneke TV keeps you informed, connected, and ahead. Aneke TV. Move with the world.
Chinua Achebe taught the world that African stories matter. Through Things Fall Apart, gave voice to the colonized and challenged stereotypes. His legacy is proof that the pen can shape perception and preserve identity.
Morning headlines before you step out. Midday updates while you work. Evening analysis when the day winds down. Wherever life takes you, Aneke TV keeps you informed, connected, and ahead. Aneke TV. Move with the world.
My name is Dr. Emmanuel Ihechi Asonye. I am the CEO of Omenka App LLC. I created Omenka App for the preservation of Igbo language and culture. Omenka App was established in New Mexico and it is headquartered in Albuquerque, but currently we are also being registered in Nigeria. We have a website. We are also on social media because my app is primarily for the Igbo community. In 2006, something significant happened among the Igbo community. UNESCO predicted that Igbo language was going to go into extinction, and that was because Igbo people are one of the most traveled people in the whole world. So the more children are born outside of Igbo land, the more they get disconnected. The app is on iOS, it's also on Android. Access the website and download the app from there. And over 2,000 people are using the app right now. But there's an app that will teach you about Igbo culture, Igbo people. We have Igbo poems, we have riddles and jokes, we have Igbo proverbs, then we have the word section where you are going to search Igbo words. Whatever word that you can find in English, you want to make sure it is found in the app in Igbo language. And I encourage everybody from their communities, you can do what we're doing in Omenka app with your own language and with your own culture. Do not allow your culture or your language to die.
Morning headlines before you step out. Midday updates while you work. Evening analysis when the day winds down. Wherever life takes you, Aneke TV keeps you informed, connected, and ahead. Aneke TV. Move with the world.
Morning and welcome to News Around the Globe on Aneke TV. I'm Good Hope Chukwuma, glad to have you join us. Headlines. Cross River Assembly suspends lawmaker over alleged domestic violence. On the foreign scene, U.S. House of Representatives backs President Donald Trump over Iran military operations. On business, gas supply shortage pushes Nigeria's power generation below 4,000 megawatts. Details of the news. The Cross River State House of Assembly has suspended the member representing Obubra One State constituency, Honorable Ovat Abo, indefinitely over allegations of physically assaulting his wife. The decision was taken during plenary following deliberations by members of the House. The motion for his suspension was moved by Honorable Davis Etha and seconded by Honorable Francis Basi Asuko. Lawmakers condemned the alleged act, describing it as conduct inconsistent with the ethical standards expected of elected public officials. Following the resolution, Honorable Abo was escorted out of the chamber by the Sergeant at Arms in compliance with the directive of the Assembly. The House subsequently constituted a committee to investigate the allegations and report back with recommendations. Speaker of the Assembly, Honorable Evat Anyambem, stated that the legislature remains committed to discipline, integrity, and protection of public trust. The suspension will remain in effect pending the outcome of the investigation. The Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, has warned that political parties may boycott Nigeria's 2027 general elections if certain provisions of the Electoral Act 2026 are not amended. The council described aspects of the law as controversial and capable of undermining multi-party democracy. IPAC National Chairman Yusuf Dantale said the current provisions could restrict political participation in and potentially disenfranchise many Nigerians. The council is therefore calling on the National Assembly to urgently review the legislation. Among its demands is the restoration of mandatory electronic transmission of the election results and enhance transparency and credibility in the electoral process. The council also raised concerns over requirements for party members to upload national identification numbers during internal party activities. IPAC further warned that failure to address the issues may trigger legal disputes capable of disrupting preparations for the 2027 elections. The council also indicated plans to brief international democratic institutions on the matter. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has urged Nigerians to abandon what she described as an entitlement mentality and instead embrace values of service, discipline, and integrity. She made the call during a cross-faith iftar and Lenten breaking of fast in Abuja. The First Lady noted that the coincidence of the Muslim Ramadan fast and the Christian Lenten season this year presents a unique opportunity to strengthen national unity and religious tolerance. She encouraged citizens to focus on contributing positively to national development. Senator Tinubu also spoke on the importance of peaceful coexistence in families and communities. Drawing from her personal experience, she emphasized that the role of mutual respect in sustaining harmony despite religious differences. The event featured a lecture by Professor Ganiyat Adejoke Adesina Utman, who highlighted the need to rebuild trust in public institutions and promote accountability among public office holders. Bauchi State Governor Senator Bala Mohammed has granted unconditional pardon to 73 inmates in correctional facilities across the state. The decision forms part of activities marking the Ramadan season and efforts to promote rehabilitation. The governor also approved a resettlement package totaling 7 million naira for the beneficiaries. Each of the released inmates received 100,000 naira to support their reintegration into society. Governor Mohammed explained that the gesture was carried out in accordance with the powers or prerogative of mercy granted to state governors under Section 212 of the 1999 Constitution. He said the decision followed careful review of the cases of the affected inmates. The state government urged community leaders and families to support the released individuals as they reintegrate into society, stressing that acceptance and guidance are essential to preventing a return to crime. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has expressed concern over the delay in payment of February salaries for workers in federal universities. The union says the development is causing hardship among its members nationwide. SANU President Muhammad Ibrahim called on the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation to immediately release the funds to enable affected staff receive their salaries without further delay. The union attributed the problem to inconsistencies in the federal government's payroll platforms, particularly the switching between the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, GIFMIS, and the Remitter Payment Platform. SANU also urged the Federal Ministry of Education to accelerate negotiations on outstanding agreements with university unions in order to maintain industrial harmony in the nation's tertiary institutions. The Nigeria's police force is undergoing administrative changes following the appointment of Inspector General of Police, IGP Olatunji Disu. The development comes after the resignation of former Inspector General of Police, Kayode Butokun. As part of the restructuring, the police force Public Relations Officer Assistant Commissioner of Police Benjamin Hunde has been removed from the position. Police sources describe the move as part of routine adjustments following leadership changes. Hunde previously served as spokesperson for Zone 2 Command and also participated in international peacekeeping operations in Darfur. His tenure as National Police spokesperson lasted about 6 months. The police headquarters is expected to announce a replacement for the spokesperson position in the coming days as the new Inspector General continues to reorganize the force management structure. In the meantime, the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of training and development, DIG Frank Mba, has retired from the Nigeria Police Force after 34 years of service. His retirement follows recent changes in the leadership of the Nigerian Police Force after the appointment of IGP Olatunji Disu as the new Inspector General of Police. Alongside the retirement, the Police Service Commission has invited 7 Assistant Inspector General of Police for promotion interviews to the rank of Deputy Inspector General. The promotion exercise is aimed at strengthening the force management team to work with the new Inspector General in overseeing police operations nationwide. Police authorities in Kwara and Taraba states have dismissed viral social media reports suggesting widespread Shiite protests in parts of northern Nigeria. Security agencies say there has been no confirmed protest in cities, including Ilorin and Jalingo, noting that commercial and social activities have continued normally. Spokesperson for the Kwara State Police Command, Adetoun Ejire Adeyemi, urged residents to disregard misinformation linking Nigeria to tensions in the Middle East. She warned that individuals spreading false information could face legal consequences. Police authorities in both states say security patrols have been intensified to maintain public order while encouraging citizens to rely on verified information from official sources. Governor Francis Nwifuru of Ebonyi State has inaugurated a 19-member committee to resolve the boundary dispute between Okporojo and Amasiri communities. The committee, chaired by Commissioner Paul Mubashi, includes surveyors and land experts tasked with physically demarcating the disputed boundary in line with the newly signed peace agreement. Governor Nwifuru said the intervention followed a series of violent clashes between communities, which resulted in casualties and destruction of property. The governor also announced that the curfew earlier imposed on the affected area will remain in force until security agencies confirm that peace has been fully restored. News around the globe is coming to you live from Aneke TV. Remember, you can stay connected with us on social media platforms, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Now, a quick recap of the major stories making the news. Cross River Assembly suspends lawmaker over alleged assault on wife. Coming up shortly, on the foreign scene, U.S. House of Representatives supports President Donald Trump on Iran military operations. On business, gas supply shortage reduces Nigeria power generation below 4,000 megawatts. We'll be right back.
Morning headlines before you step out. Midday updates while you work. Evening analysis when the day winds down. Wherever life takes you, move with the world.
Welcome back. Ukraine has accused Hungarian authorities of detaining employees of the Ukrainian state-owned Oshkat Bank and confiscating a shipment of valuables in Budapest. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said the employees were transporting financial assets from Austria to Ukraine when the incident occurred. According to Ukrainian officials, the shipment reportedly included about 40 million United States dollars, 35 million euros, and approximately 9 kilograms of gold. Kyiv claims the bank employees were inspected by Hungarian authorities while transiting through Budapest. The Ukrainian government has demanded clarification from Hungary regarding the status of the bank staff and the seized assets. Officials in Kyiv described the development as unacceptable and called for the immediate release of the employees. Hungarian authorities have yet to issue an official statement on the matter. The incident comes amid strained relations between the two countries over energy supply disputes linked to the Dizba oil pipeline. United Arab Emirates is reportedly considering tighter financial restrictions on assets linked to Iran as tensions escalate in the Middle East. The development was reported by the Wall Street Journal, citing officials familiar with ongoing discussions. The proposed measures are said to focus on financial networks allegedly used by Iranian entities to conduct international transactions through front companies and currency exchanges in the region. The report also indicated that authorities in the UAE are examining accounts suspected to have links to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a military organization designed as a terrorist group by several Western countries. The UAE government has not issued an official statement on the reported plans. Analysts say any such financial restrictions could have implications for regional economic relations and diplomatic engagements with Tehran. The United States House of Representatives has voted against a resolution seeking to halt ongoing American military operations targeting Iranian facilities. The vote ended 219 to 212. The resolution had sought to limit the administration's authority to continue military action without congressional approval. Lawmakers who supported the resolution argued that Congress should play a central role in authorizing military engagements. Opponents of the measure, largely from the Republican Party, maintained that restricting the president during ongoing hostilities could undermine national security operations. Under the United States War Powers Act of 1973, the president is required to obtain congressional authorization for extended military actions within 60 days of deployment unless Congress grants approval. The United States and Venezuela have agreed to re-establish diplomatic and consular relations after several years of strained ties. The announcement was made by the United States Department of State on Thursday. Officials say the move is intended to restore formal diplomatic engagement and improve channels for cooperation between both countries. The agreement includes plans to reopen diplomatic missions and resume consular services for citizens requiring travel and immigration assistance. Both governments say the renewal relations are expected to support dialogue on political stability, economic recovery, and humanitarian assistance in Venezuela. The Nigerian Senate has summoned former executives of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, to explain financial records relating to the company's operations between 2017 and 2023. Chairman of the State Committee on Public Accounts, Senator Aliyu Wadada, said the invitation follows observations raised during the review of audited financial statements. The committee is requesting clarification on figures relating to joint venture cash calls, subsidy payments, and other financial obligations recorded in the reports. The Senate has also directed the Auditor General for the Federation to conduct further review where necessary to ensure accountability in the management of public resources. Electricity generation in Nigeria has declined to below 4,000 megawatts due to a shortage of gas supply to thermal power plants. Data released by the Nigerian Independent System Operator indicates that the national grid recorded approximately 3,940 megawatts during the period under review. Industry operators say thermal power plants require over 1.5 billion standard cubic feet of gas daily to operate at optimal capacity. Stakeholders attribute the current supply gap to challenges including pipeline vandalism, infrastructure constraints, and payment disputes within the power sector. The Southeast Development Commission has presented an economic development framework aimed at boosting economic growth in the region over the next decade. Managing Director of the Commission, Mr. Mark Okoye, outlined the plan during an engagement with the House of Representatives Committee overseeing the agency. The strategy focuses on infrastructure development, industrial expansion, mechanized agriculture, and investment promotion to attract private sector participation. Lawmakers indicated support for the Commission's 2026 budget proposal of about 140 billion naira aimed at kickstarting priority projects across the region. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Parliament, has called on entrepreneurs across the region to take advantage of existing regional trade agreements. Director of the Parliamentary Affairs at the ECOWAS Parliament, Mr. Garba, made the call during activities making the Parliament's 25th anniversary in Abuja. He noted that initiatives such as the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme allow businesses to move goods and services across member states with fewer restrictions. The Parliament says it will partner with financial institutions and private sector organizations to promote awareness and increase intra-regional trade across West Africa. Now in sports, the second edition of the Niger Delta Sports Festival has concluded in Benin City, Edo State, with the host state finishing at the top of the medals table. Edo State secured 52 gold medals to emerge overall winners at the multi-sport competition. Delta State also recorded strong performances, including particularly in athletics events, including the 100 and 200 meter races. Organizers say games provided a platform for identifying emerging athletes who may represent Nigeria in future national and international competitions. The Nigeria Boxing Federation is concluding its national trials to select athletes for the 2026 Commonwealth Games scheduled for Glasgow, Scotland. The trials held at the Brai Ayonote Boxing Complex in Lagos featured 128 boxers competing across multiple categories. Secretary General of the Federation, Mrs. Vivian Azimene, said the top performers will proceed to a national training camp ahead of the international preparations. Officials say the selection process aims to strengthen Nigeria's boxing team and improve its medal prospects at the Commonwealth Games. Now in entertainment, Nollywood actress Doris Ogala has announced that she has reconciled with fellow actress Tondo Dike after a period of public disagreement. Ogala made the announcement on social media stating that she had decided to move forward and end the dispute despite the issues. However, the actress said her ongoing disagreement with Lagos-based cleric Pastor Chris Okafor remains unresolved. The dispute follows earlier allegations made by Ogala against the clergyman, which he has denied. The matter continues to attract public attention on social media platforms. And before we go, a major recap of our major stories. The Cross River State House of Assembly has suspended the member representing Obubra Onek State constituency, Mr. Ovat Abo, over allegations of domestic violence involving his wife. The Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Elvat Anyambem, announced the suspension during plenary, stating that the Assembly will not condone actions that undermine the dignity of public office. An investigative committee has been constituted to examine the matter and submit its report. On the foreign scene, the United States House of Representatives has voted to allow President Donald Trump to continue ongoing military operations involving Iran. Lawmakers rejected a resolution seeking to halt the action, maintaining that the president should retain authority to manage the situation while hostilities continue. The development comes amid heightened tensions in the Middle East. On the business scene, electricity generation in Nigeria has dropped below 4,000 megawatts due to a shortage of gas supply to thermal power plants. The Nigerian Independence System Operator says the national grid recorded about 3,940 megawatts during the period under review. Power sector stakeholders attribute the situation to gas supply constraints and infrastructure challenges affecting generation companies. That's news around the globe on Aneke TV. For more news and live updates, follow us across all social media platforms: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. I'm Good Hope Chukuma, thanking you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.
My name is Dr. Emmanuel Ihechi Asonye. I am the CEO of Omenka App LLC. I created Omenka App for the preservation of Igbo language and culture. Omenka App was established in New Mexico and it is headquartered in Albuquerque, but currently we are also being registered in Nigeria. We have a website. We are also on social media because my app is primarily for the Igbo community. In 2006, something significant happened among the Igbo community. UNESCO predicted that Igbo language was going to go into extinction, and that was because Igbo people are one of the most traveled people in the whole world. So the more children are born outside of Igbo land, the more they get disconnected. The app is on iOS, it's also on Android. Access the website and download the app from there. And over 2,000 people are using the app right now. But there's an app that will teach you about Igbo culture, Igbo people. We have Igbo poems, we have riddles and jokes, we have Igbo proverbs, then we have the word section where you are going to search Igbo words. Whatever word that you can find in English, you want to make sure it is found in the app in Igbo language. And I encourage everybody from their communities, you can do what we're doing in Omenka app with your own language and with your own culture. Do not allow your culture or your language to die.
Need advert placements, coverage for events, or the latest news stories? Call 070-3043-7110 right now. Aneke TV, move with the world.
Across Nigeria, from bustling cities to quiet rural communities, one institution has endured the test of time: the traditional leadership. Long before modern governance structures emerged, these institutions were the heartbeat of society, providing leadership, justice, and social cohesion in ways that remain indispensable to this day. Traditional institutions are not merely ceremonial. They are custodians of Nigeria's rich and diverse cultural heritage. From the Obas of Yoruba land, the Emirs of the North, to the Igwe and Obi of Igbo land, traditional rulers preserve centuries of customs, language, festivals, and rituals. They ensure that the stories, values, and identity of their people are not lost in a rapidly changing world. What sets these institutions apart is their organic legitimacy. Unlike elected officials whose authority depends on periodic votes, traditional rulers derive their influence from ancestry, community consent, and deeply rooted cultural norms. This legacy makes them trusted arbiters, moral authorities, and stabilizing forces within their communities. Their position above partisan politics allows them to mediate dispute and guide society with a unique combination of wisdom and authority. At the grassroots level, traditional institutions are indispensable for governance and social order. They resolve dispute, manage land and chieftaincy matters, and acts as intermediaries between local communities and government policy. In rural areas where formal structures are often distant or overstretched, the presence of these leaders ensures continuity, fairness, and accessibility in governance. Beyond mediation, traditional rulers are catalysts for development. They mobilize communities for education, healthcare, and infrastructure projects, while acting partnerships from government and private entities. Their influence ensures that development initiatives are participatory, culturally appropriate, and sustainable. In this way, traditional leadership becomes a force for progress as well as preservation. Traditional institutions also play a vital role in maintaining security. By leveraging local knowledge and community networks, rulers provide essential intelligence and oversight, collaborating with security agencies to prevent and mitigate conflicts. Their involvement strengthens community resilience and reinforces the social contract between citizens and the state. Equally important is the moral and ethical dimension of traditional leadership. These institutions instill values of respect, integrity, communal responsibility, and peaceful coexistence. In a society grappling with ethical and social challenges, the guidance of traditional rulers remains a vital instrument for fostering discipline and virtue. In a nation as diverse as Nigeria, traditional institutions serve as a bridges of unity. They manage ethnic and cultural diversity, promote dialogue and encourage mutual respect, while preserving distinct local identities. Through their wisdom, they help maintain harmony and stability across communities that might otherwise be divided. The traditional institution is far from a relic of the past. It is a dynamic, enduring pillar of Nigerian society, a custodian of heritage, a mediator of peace, a driver of development, and a moral compass for generations. To harness Nigeria's full potential, there must be a deliberate integration of these institutions into governance and national development strategies. For in preserving the past, guiding the present, and shaping the future, traditional leadership remains at the very heart of Nigerian life.
Every second, the world changes, markets rise, leaders speak, stories unfold. To keep up, you don't just need news, you need clarity, you need speed, you need perspective.
That's why Aneke TV brings you the global pulse. Accurate, reliable, right when it matters most. Aneke TV. Move with the world.
The red cap is a powerful symbol of authority, tradition, and chieftaincy. It signifies leadership, cultural identity, and a connection to the ancestors. The red cap is primarily worn by men who hold traditional titles such as Nze, Ozo, Ichie, Chief, Onyish. The number of eagle feathers on the cap can denote the wearer's status within the chieftaincy system. The red cap comes in different shapes, and each shape represents a particular hierarchy in the traditional institution in Igbo land.
Every second, the world changes, markets rise, Leaders speak. Stories unfold. To keep up, you don't just need news. You need clarity. You need speed. You need perspective.
That's why Aneke TV brings you the global pulse. Accurate, reliable, right when it matters most. Aneke TV. Move with the world.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, 042. You're welcome to Sunrise here on Aneke TV this morning. And you know that this is where every sunrise begins with delightfulness and purpose. Bringing you today's daily dose of brightness and joy. I'm Good Hope Chukuma, coming to you live from our studio here in Enugu.
And good morning to you, our global audience. Remember, they say that no matter how dark the night, the day must break. And to you, our global audience, I'm Uche Osai. Wherever you are, in your office or in transit, thank you for letting us into your space this beautiful morning. We're here to refresh, inform, and motivate. I'm Mr. Good Hope. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
You're looking forward to it.
I always have looked forward to Friday.
I know you can't wait for Saturday to come around.
I can't, of course, and I can't still because I'm not rushing anywhere.
All right, it's good to see you this morning.
Thank you very much. So you're welcome to Sunrise, and you know today is Friday, it's the 6th of March. Thank God it's Friday. Another new day, and a new and wonderful edition of Sunrise. A power-packed morning with the latest news, weather, business updates, hot topics, and that Sunrise pack that will help you on the day.
So, get comfortable, grab that cup of coffee or tea, enjoy the cruise, because the sunrise is set sail.
Coming up shortly, we'll kick things off with a quote of the day, something thoughtful to shift your perspective and help you stay well-driven or focused.
Then, it's straight into the day's top headlines. All the key news update that you need to remain informed will be shared, hot, tasty, and of course, debated.
We'll also give you a full weather forecast, what to expect across the cities in the southeast and beyond, so you know what to do and how to keep your day going.
Then, we won't let you go without unleashing the man of many parts. Yes, you heard me right. You see the sports oracle this morning with the mental mechanic all in one. And of course, we'll get you up to date with the Nigerian business landscape this morning to keep you prepared with your portfolios and investments.
All right, we are going straight to the inspirational segment of the day, and it's coming from a quote which says, "If everything around you seems dark, look again, you may be the light. If everything around you seems dark, look again, you may be the light." You know, sometimes life feels heavy, confusing, or hopeless, but this quote reminds us that the change, hope, or solution that we're looking for may actually be in us. Yes, it may actually be in you, it may actually be within you. You might be the one that has the positive energy, courage, and everything it takes to handle the situation. So instead of focusing only on the darkness, why don't you focus on the light and remember that you can be light and that you can be the brighter side of the light. Yes, Mr. Uche?
All right, this is quite apt, and what a tonic, to go into the weekend with. It says, if everything around you seems dark, look again, you may be the light.
Yeah.
And of course, that reminds me of what the good book says for the Christians. I remember the good book did say that you are the light of the world, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this morning we are being told that perhaps you are the light in that dark corner where you are. So, and I asked, where are you at the moment? Where in your heart are you? Not necessarily physically. In the inner recess of your heart, there could be a lot of beings that you are battling with. And amongst these beings, we have been told this morning that you can be the shining light. So starting from the inner recess of your heart and your mind, start from there to beam the light. Do not let the darkness envelop you. And where you found yourself, it could be at your business place, try to be the light around that business environment. We're in a world where we are enamored with, negative happenings around. A lot of the news that we hear talk about the battle, the crisis in the Middle East, talk about the fight, the insurgents in northern Nigeria, talk about the demonstration of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, the Shiites. There are a lot of things for one to run back to and feel that we are being enveloped by the darkness. No, this morning we are being charged to look again that perhaps in us, and we may be the light that this nation, this world needs. You are the light of the world, and this nation indeed needs you to shine brighter and brighter, just like the sunshine this morning. You are charged to go to your office, go to the marketplace, and in your home, wherever you are, be the light. Do not wait for the light of others. No, in this world where everything around us seems dark, we have to look again, because we are ought to be the light. So this morning will charge you like the sunrise, shine forth.
All right, we urge you like the sunrise to shine forth. We are going straight to the weather update across the major cities in Southeast today. Good morning, Oka. Mostly sunny and hazy, with temperatures hovering in the mid 30 degrees Celsius, meaning the day will feel warm and slightly dusty in places, while the afternoon heat could be intense. So sunglasses, light clothing and hydration will make the day easier.
Good morning, Coal City. Welcome to Enugu. Enugu this morning is a mix of sunshine and thin clouds with temperatures around 34 to 35 degrees Celsius, which means the morning may feel pleasant, but the midday sun will quickly turn to the heat. So outdoor activities are best done earlier in the day.
Good morning, Abakaliki. Likely one of the hotter areas today with dry air and strong sunshine, pushing temperatures toward 35 to 37 degrees Celsius. So expect a bright sky, blazing afternoon heat, and a warm evening that cools slowly after sunset.
It's Friday, and welcome to my favorite city. Warmer than the usual temperature, and you are expected to stick but a lively day before a mild and warm night.
Good morning, Umaya.
Every second, the world changes, markets rise, leaders speak, stories unfold. To keep up, you don't just need news, you need clarity, you need speed, you need perspective.
That's why Aneke TV brings you the global pulse. Accurate, reliable, right when it matters most. Aneke TV. Move with the world.